Welcome, Street Smart Podcast. Today's guest, Cody Gill.
How are you doing, man?
Oh, awesome, man. I'm out here in West Texas, where I was born and raised. Not Odessa, because that's not where we were raised. I was in Midland, but out here in West Texas, there's so much activity, and really, I would say in the state for entrepreneurship, you might be hard pressed to find an area that has more of that kind of just sensibility about it. It's just so much of that out here.
Absolutely.
And looking at your history and going through LinkedIn, I think you've started approximately 92% of the businesses in West Texas. Is that right?
I'm working on it. I'm trying to hit 98%.
Yeah. Well, you're close, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you've started a lot. And for me, this podcast is about that exact thing, that sort of, just always ready to pull the trigger if the right idea shows up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And man, that's always fascinated me. And you and I talked a bit before we started recording, and it's just a whole different kind of mentality. But the purpose of this is not to discuss stealth or any of your other 75 or 80 businesses. It's really to discuss you and get to know the person behind making those types of decisions and in leaps of faith in a lot of cases.
Absolutely.
And so, to start that and in that spirit, tell me about yourself. Where were you raised? Where were you born? All of that stuff. Let's start there. Also, thank you for the drink.
Absolutely, man. Gotta have the crown.
Right. It helps conversation.
Absolutely. First podcast helps the nerves out.
Oh yeah, that's your first one, huh?
So
I'm honored.
Cody Gill, raised in West Odessa, right where we're at.
Yeah.
34 years old. Grew up out here, out in West Odessa, out here where we grew up. We're the ones that aren't supposed to make it, right? I mean, yeah. So we're definitely not the rich side of town by any means. And man, I kind of always prided myself on being from here and being out this far. Grew up, played football, played all the sports, went through high school, never went to college. I went straight to a pulling unit. So in high school, I was on a roustabout crew during the summer. I didn't get to go lift weights and all that with my friends. My dad.
You didn't have to if you're on a roustabout crew. Exactly. That is your weight room, brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I did. I came back a lot stronger than most of the guys that were in the weight room. But that was my summertime during high school was roustabouting. After that, my dad, after we graduated, my dad had our pulling unit crew pick me up the next day. I didn't get a summertime. Not after we graduated. So
your dad at that time was running a workover rig?
Yes, he had a couple of workover rigs going, him and another guy. And,
okay, so they were his workover rigs?
Yeah, they were his.
Cool.
They were his and another guy they were partners on. And that truck pulled up at 5 a.m. and I thought, man, what in the world's going on? What the hell am I getting into?
Wait a minute. Yeah. What's happening here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know.
So I worked on that for a few years. Absolutely loved it. Loved the people. Loved everything about it. The atmosphere it was great. It was the first few days I didn't give it a chance. I hated it, and then I just grew to love it. Loved my crew, loved everything about it. So kind of learned that whole deal, and then
you guys out there you're a family.
Yeah,
because you're so isolated from everything else.
Yeah, there's nothing around.
Yeah, and you're working on stuff that sometimes has just been shit on for years and years, and so it takes you become a team.
Yeah,
you truly become a team and a family. And I worked for Neighbors Well Services. Yeah. And those rig crews a lot of times were actual family, like you're describing.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
it's that was always an interesting thing for me, being a safety professional, also to think, well, of course you're going to work safe. You don't want to hurt your son or your dad.
Absolutely.
So and for those that don't know or not in the oil and gas industry, a workover rig or a pooling unit is a smaller rig that goes out. It's mobile.
Yep.
You drive it up and down the road. Then you stand the derrick up. You work on the well, whatever needs to be repaired. These are completed wells that are in some cases producing, some cases not. But you do routine maintenance and work and whatever else, and you can even do some reentry stuff with them.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's hard work, man, and it's good work.
And the field I broke out in, it was very old wells, so it was nasty, full of paraffin, full of all kinds of just nasty stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it was rough. But it was fun.
Oh, it is. It's an interesting way to break out into the oil field, brother.
Absolutely. So then going into that, I got one of my buddies on, Zach, and it was kind of cool having him out there with me because, like you said, we're so isolated.
Right.
We didn't have a whole lot to talk about or discuss, and so when I got him out there, it was a lot more fun that way, and we made the best of it. We had a reverse unit operator out there with us every day, and I thought, man, I'm getting off this pulling unit one day. So I stood by his side and I learned, and I got my chance at a reverse unit, and I kind of just took off and ran with it from there. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
And so explain what a reverse unit is, just high level.
So reverse unit has a pump, has a swivel. You could go in, you could drill out plugs, drill out, deepen wells, clean out wells, stuff like that.
Sure.
I always refer to it as kind of like a miniature drilling rig going there, and you hook it up to the pulling unit and you go down and just kind of clean out or, like I said, drill out plugs or whatever you need to do. So
then you got your chance on the reverse unit, and you were like, man, this is better than the rig.
Yeah, this is absolutely awesome,
yeah.
and I absolutely loved it. And kind of just went from there, made connections. My dad had a partner at the time in their company that was kind of a deal of their own. So I wanted to do my own thing eventually, And whenever I met another guy, and who's now one of my very best friends, Tyler, we started a trucking company, and we started a vacuum truck company. We built it up, we sold it off, and then.
Now, how old are you when you start the vac truck company?
I believe I was 21 when I did that. Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, it was a risk for sure.
Yeah, but did you realize it was a risk at the time, or are you just a 21-year-old kid going, man, watch this?
No, I was very calculated with it all, and I absolutely had $0 to my name, And, and Tyler at the time, he was 24, I believe. So it was rough, and my grandma. I started with a $15,000 loan from my grandmother, who absolutely had no money as well. So
she gave you everything she had.
Yeah, it was a gamble, man. It was, and it worked out really good. It really did.
Man, that's awesome. And so from that early age, and what do you think gave you that mentality of, man, I'm just going to do my own thing? Was it living out in West Texas, where that's a very common thing?
Yeah.
And you see a lot of people that maybe live next door to you, and now they've ascended to true wealth, or was it watching your dad own a business, or what was it? Do you think that gave you that mindset at that age? Because 21 is young, dude. So
I was born with the sickness called trying to make money at everything I do. And it is. I could have any hobby in the world, and while I'm having fun with that hobby, I'm sitting there thinking, how in the world can I make money doing this?
How can I monetize this?
So I grew up out west Odessa, right? So there's a lot of chicken out here, a lot of stuff going out here with farming and stuff like that back in the day. So when I was going into junior high, we weren't the most well off. We lived a dang good life, but I wanted the nicest things. So what I did is I started breeding chickens at the age of 12, and that's how I'd buy my nice school clothes and stuff like that, And then I got into dairy cows, started flipping them in the newspaper at the age of 14. So I've always had it, and I've always just had the drive to build things and watch it grow,
Sure.
My dad's been the same way, and so has my mom. But we really didn't start doing the whole business thing and and growing it until we just kind of all teamed up together, and that's when it really took off.
So at 21, you start a vacuum truck company, which that's an interesting segment of the trucking industry to jump into.
Yeah,
but it's absolutely very common. Oil field need, and if you don't need a whole lot of customers to do really well with a couple trucks.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so you say it's a calculated risk. So what was the name of that company?
It was Tyco Petroleum Services.
Tyco Petroleum Services.
Yep.
So you build that up over how many years?
Just a couple of years, 2 years. Built it up and sold it.
And then sold it.
Yeah.
So now you do have some money.
Yeah.
Hopefully you paid grandma back.
Oh yeah, she got her money back pretty quick. So, she did.
Did you sweeten the deal when you gave her money back?
Grandma still gets money to this day. So
man, you got to do that.
Good.
You got to do that.
Yep.
So everything, you're back square now. Now you got a little bit of money. Then what?
So during that time is when my dad and me and my mom got together and decided we were going to buy my dad's partner out. Well, his partner wanted to keep the rigs, and we kept the tubing testers and scanners.
Okay.
And we started Stealth, and that was in 2011. And that's when we teamed up, and we're a hell of a team, and we grew that thing together. And now we're one of the biggest in North America at what we do here at Stealth. So we're really proud of that, pride ourselves on it. Branched out into several different divisions. Got some big things coming next week for Stealth that we hadn't really talked to anybody about, but it's going to be pretty phenomenal. So,
man, that's amazing.
Yep.
And so you went from the vac truck, you take that, You partner with your family, which, I mean, there are real horror stories with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I mean, but there are also these kinds of stories.
Absolutely.
So, to me, I always thought, why wouldn't I partner with my family?
Yeah.
I mean, if I can't trust them, then who can you really count on? And so then you guys start Stealth, which is blown up, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Stealth is awesome.
Appreciate it.
And I first came across you. There was a picture of you at Aaron Marquez's house.
Yep.
Standing next to Lindsey Graham, making him look this tall.
Yeah, that was a great night.
Yeah, and I was like, man, there was something about you, and so there's so I was like, I'm gonna follow that guy. So I'm gonna watch, and then, man, just it was always very intriguing to me. Your backstory. I didn't really know your backstory, and so then. What's interesting though is that even at the age of 12, you were like, man, I'm going to do something, right?
Yep.
And it was that mentality that there's this stuff that I want, and I'm just going to figure out a way to get that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it was. I had the hunger for the nice things, and I wanted to figure out a way to get it. But now it's not so much that. My thing is watching things grow, helping people grow. Then I absolutely love that. So now I have this deal. It's open door policy, and I have that with my employees at every company. But it's also with just your everyday people who have an idea and want to start something. And that's how I've started several businesses. Was people coming in my door and saying, "Hey, I got this idea. You got a minute?" And absolutely, let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. So we've took some big risk, and most of them have paid off for the most part. Not all of them are home runs, but most of them have, and it's been great. It's really cool.
So you mentioned one of the things that you truly enjoy doing is taking someone, like myself, that may have a great idea but maybe hesitant to pull the trigger, which is something I'm definitely very risk averse in that way. And you talk about one of your favorite things is to kind of push that person into doing it.
Yep.
How do you do that?
I don't know. I just they come to me. If the idea is great, we'll start the business, and we'll have meetings. And my partner makes fun of me. Hey, man, why are we all? We're always having these meetings, Sure. I said, hey, we got to teach these people. We got to groom them to do how we do things, and that's how it's got to work. I don't know everything, but my way is a pretty good way, I think. So we'll take them in. We'll get started. They know the line of work, but we know the business side, so they'll learn that from us as well. And then we'll just grow it as we go,
So let's say I came to you, I had a business idea, and you were like, sounds good, man, let's do this. And then I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can. Say I'm super hesitant. How do you get me to not be?
So what we do 99% of the time is you have $0 into this thing. It's all of our money or all of our names guaranteeing the loans, and it's you. It's on your shoulders. Of course, it's up to you to work.
Sure.
But I'm pretty well connected. I meet people all the time. I'm go out in the field all the time. So I could also, and I'll comfort them by saying, hey, I've got work too. I can help get work for this or that, and
Sure.
Usually works out, but it helps a lot more when they realize they don't have to put $1 on the line.
I tell you, it definitely, that definitely would ease some stress.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, if that person, even with that, if you offer that and that person's like, I don't know, and then you're probably going to walk.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to put the effort in to at that point, if they're still hesitant, you got to worry about their work ethic.
Are they going to be 100% on board? Yeah.
Correct.
And there has been times where that has bit us. We started a wireline company. I mean, that thing, we didn't have the right guy running it. It just wasn't the right situation, wasn't the right team, and could have been great, but it wasn't. We did lose our butts pretty good on that, but hell, it is what it is. You can't hit all home runs, and I was pretty down about it. And I was talking to my dad about it, and he said, "Son, you're not going to hit them all out of the park, So, and we had just did another company as well, which was a chemical company, and it's kind of the same situation. And it's just one of them deals. But
sure,
if you hit them all out of the park, everybody in the world would do it, right? So
yeah, if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Absolutely.
But it's that you go into it with the expectation that this is going to be a grand slam every time.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not going to fail, And especially if it's something that I know about, I guarantee you we're not going to fail. I'm going to give it my all, and we're going to make it work.
You ever started a business on something you didn't know about?
Oh yeah, absolutely. For instance, wireline.
Yeah.
I have a very successful rig cleaning company that I'm partners with Tyler, the guy I mentioned earlier, and then a girl named Kira McNair. She came into my office with that open door policy. A guy brought her in, introduced us. And I thought, what in the hell are we doing? This girl is all over the place. She is wild. She's a wild card. So when she left, she has a good personality. Like you cling to her, but I was like, man, she is all over the place.
Yeah.
So when she left, I told Tyler, I said, man, there's no way in hell we're going to do this. He said, I know the business. I know people who are in it. There's money to be made here. Let's give it a shot.
Sure.
And we did. And man, I'm glad we took a chance on that girl. She'll tell you to this day, we've changed her life and we've helped her be a better person. And she's also changed ours and, helped us kind of learn how to deal with people in different ways. So she was definitely the first of her kind that we've handled. And she's a one of a kind. And it's worked out great. She's very successful. She kept it busy during COVID.
Yeah.
There was no drilling rigs out there. But the thing about it, the drilling rigs were being stacked. So before they were being stacked, they had to get taken care of, cleaned up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So she kept us busy, and it was a cool thing. It was really cool. But her story is probably the best out of all of them that we've done, just because of her past, her history. She's been screwed over several times. Oil and gas is the worst industry. It just get screwed over, right?
It's the best and the worst, man. It is so. I've had the opportunity to work outside of oil and gas, and I realized that as great as that experience was, that's not my people, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's just a different gear, a different mentality, and
absolutely.
And it's when the industry is going good and everything's good.
Yep.
It's the best.
Absolutely. And so with that being said, I mean, like I said, it is the best. It's the best industry to be in as far as people, but it's also the worst for, there's a lot of backstabbing that goes on and a lot of people stealing and such, but it's
and then not to mention the geopolitical stuff, where we're the easiest target in the world to just be the bad guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the world stage, even though, I always tell people all the time that, especially people that aren't in oil and gas, there's not another industry in the world that does more for people and the environment both than the oil and gas industry, and no one will ever tell you.
And they just don't understand it. They don't get it. No. I don't know. And it's like the more you do, and the better you do.
You can't say do.
Yeah, do. So the better you do, it's like, man, what we just can't please anybody, and it's like the worse person, the worse you are. So
the best part of it though is the oil and gas industry. Once you realize you can't please anybody, you just go, fuck it. We're just going to do our thing.
Absolutely. That's kind of how we do it.
We're just going to go. And so that's great, man. So and you don't live here anymore. You live on a ranch out by Possum Kingdom. You came in for this, but you're out here all the time.
I spend most of my time out here. I'm still very involved with my customers. My worst thing in the world is I'll meet a new customer and we'll introduce. Well, I know you're busy. Who do you want me to call you? No, call me. I'm still active. Number. Call me. Text me. I don't care if it's 1 a.m. If you forgot to set up a job for the next day, call me. I'm that guy.
Yeah, so we'll work it out. And that's going to be. I think that's a lesson that a lot of people, regardless of whether you're an entrepreneur or not. And if you are available and can solve a problem at any point in someone's day. They'll remember that.
That goes a long way.
They'll remember
with anybody. Yeah, you get them out of a bind. I mean, that goes a long way. I have a recent customer I've been trying to get in with for a while, and they had a really tight relationship with the brand X for some reason, and I got them out of a bind, and it was very late at night, and now I'm first call on their list, and it's awesome. So it is. It's pretty cool.
It is. So when you look at this and you see, you think back on the businesses that maybe didn't do as well, or the ones that completely failed. What do you think caused that? I mean, was there some market influence that caused that, or was it we just didn't quite nail this particular thing? When you look back on that after looking at it, what did you identify as man, these things caused this?
The wrong team, the wrong person in place, the wrong person running it, investing in the wrong person. Both times. So I've had two that have failed, and it's absolutely that 100%. Had the wrong management in place, we invested in the wrong guy, So in front of us, it sounded good, looked good. We took it, we did it, and we've turned down a lot of things, and we're glad. But there's been 2 deals that we've done, and that's kind of what it was. I mean, that's 100% what it was. It was just people.
Yeah, and
people are everything. They are.
They really are.
They're either your backbone to your company. Gave a guy, one of our great managers in Hobbs, gave him a pickup today, brand new pickup. He started crying, gave me a hug. But that man has doubled, what we've done over there. Just having him, and we treat him well, do it right, and like they say, you treat them well, they go nowhere. And
right, yeah, it's up to if you have So Aaron Marquez
Yep.
will say
Great
that
guy,
and
great
so-
entrepreneur.
and he really is. I mean, he really is.
Yeah.
But he's made the comment to me before, if you've got good people are going to try to take them.
Absolutely. Oh, they do.
And your responsibility as the entrepreneur, the owner of the company, whatever, is to ensure that everything is so great there
Yep.
that they're like, hey, thank you for thinking of me. I'm really good.
Yeah, but I'm good where I'm at.
I'm really
Yep.
good where I am.
Yep.
And that's got to, when you start a business as an entrepreneur, are you thinking that far ahead where you're saying, we're starting this business and it's going to blow up because it's going to be a grand slam every time. And that's the mentality.
Yep.
I'm starting this business. It's going to be a grand slam. And we got to make sure we treat people correctly.
Absolutely.
Do you start having that thought at the inception, or is that something that as you start seeing the business gain traction that you're like, okay, now we can start doing some things for the people?
No, we see it from the beginning, and that's another thing I learned from, I would say, both my parents. They both worked for somebody else before, right? And that was always their thing that they instilled into me. Hey, you have to take care of the people, and they'll take care of you, and you'll keep them. They'll be loyal. Our people are our family, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Our managers. We go down to the ranch. We spend time together. We do a lot of things together. We go out on the lake, go inner tubing.
Literally everybody that I met when I came in here today, you introduced as your brother.
Yep, that was Hutch and EJ. Those are my brothers, and they look nothing like me, right? I mean,
they're different looking than you for sure.
Yeah, they're a little
But that's
taller.
okay.
Yeah, a little
They're
taller, a little darker than me, and they're my brothers though. I love them to death.
Absolutely, and you could tell there's a genuine appreciation on their side too, and love for you.
Yep. And I spend almost every weekend with those two guys alone right there. I mean, they're always at the ranch hanging out with me and my family, just having a good time, So we do. I've got salesmen that work for me or work for us that are, twice my age. And I still look up to them. I go to them for advice.
Sure.
I'm never too good to learn from my guys. The day you can't learn from your people, they're no good for you, right? So that's kind of how we look at that deal.
When you think about starting businesses and those types of things, do you ever think, man, I'm going to start a business that's not dependent on employees, something that is just a kind of a one-man operation that I don't have to? That's
everybody's dream right there, and
Sure.
that's a big thing of mine. But for some reason, I get suckered into these companies that just have to have, they're employee-driven 100%,
Sure.
I recently, my most recent start is an electrical company. One of my brothers, who's not a brother, but he's a brother, Sean Davis, and a guy named Casey Mancha. They've, they're very successful in the electrical world. Casey's helped build and sell multiple businesses, along with a few other of his teammates. But he never had that step, never took that step, and I was always on him, like, hey guys, we're going to start an electrical company. Let's do this.
When you say he's built businesses, he's done that for other people, not for himself.
Yeah, not for himself.
Correct.
Yeah. So I said, all right, we're going to do this, and that's kind of what I focus on when I'm out somewhere. When I meet somebody, is this the guy? Like, do I want this guy? And they were them. And Sean is hands down 100% the guy. So we did it. We started it finally after about, I'd say about 5 years or 5 to 8 years of just begging him, hey man, let's do this. Let's take this chance. Let's get it done. And
of hard selling this guy.
Hard selling, yeah, it was. But some people, like you said, they don't know how to take the next step, or they're just scared to do it, And
Sure.
Finally, we did it. It started in I would say, so we got together in November. I talked to him about it, and then it started in January is when we got rolling. And so we're into it half the year, and it's been great. It's been really good. This was the best time to start it as well. I mean, the price of oil right now.
Oh man, yeah.
So
it doesn't. That certainly doesn't hurt things.
Yeah, absolutely.
At all.
Our biggest holdback was equipment. That was it. I mean, you can't find equipment anywhere right now. So that was if that's the only problem we run into, we're doing good.
Yeah, we're seeing that at Wildcat where we're trying to grow the business and you can't get trucks.
Can't get trucks. Yeah, you can't get anything. Yeah.
Or if a truck breaks down, God forbid, you can't get it fixed forever.
Transmission's 2 years out.
Oh
so
yeah.
It's
You
crazy.
blew the engine.
Yeah.
Well, that's cute. We're not fixing
absolutely.
that.
Yep. I'm with you.
So, what's next, man? What do you do now? Now that you've got all these businesses that are running, things are growing, things are great. You're starting other businesses. Is there ever a point where you can sit back and say, "Man, I'm good"? Or is that just not in you?
Not in me, not at all.
Yeah.
And my dad's asked me that. Hey, when's enough? I'm done. I'm older. I'm not. I'm never done. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I'll get comfortable. Everything will be rolling smooth. I'm like, man, I'm not going to do anything else. And then somebody will walk through my door. If it's the right deal, we're doing it. 100%. So I've here recently.
You're a sucker for the deal, man.
I am the deal. The deal's everything. I've spent a lot of time building up my ranch, building up the land. Me, my wife, and kids have, and it's been a great thing. And I thought, man, life's great. I'm not going to do anything else. Everything's smooth. And then years trying to talk Sean and them into doing something with the electrical deal, and then they finally came to me, hey, let's do this. This is the time. I'm like, shit, here we go. Let's do it. So we got rolling, and my wife said, I thought you weren't starting anything else. I thought you weren't doing anything else. And
he said, come on, we've been together since I was 15. You know,
absolutely.
You know what's up.
Yep, you know what's good. Yep,
I was like 3 years into raising chickens when you met me.
That's right. She met her a chicken farmer. But yeah, that's kind of what it was. But she's been by my side through it all, man. Had a great job running a reverse unit. You know, those guys make pretty good money.
Yeah,
we started that trucking deal and started Stealth, and man, we literally lived off of pennies for the first 3 years, and that's what most people don't understand either. And when we do put somebody in a business, I'm the one that's thinking, hey guys, y'all got to understand, your first 2 to 3 years in business, you're not making a profit.
Right.
You're not going to get rich. It's not a rich overnight type of deal. So that was our thing. So she literally stuck by my side, and I don't know why, but she did, and I think she's glad she did now, but it was rough at first, man. We had a brand new baby.
We should have her on here.
Yeah,
and
really.
says, hey, how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it was rough. Brand new baby, our firstborn. You know,
oh, wow.
We were kids, man. We were young, so it was rough, but it was fun. And we look back and we laugh, and a lot of hamburger helper, but it was cool.
Oh, yeah,
it worked. I still eat it to this day.
Hamburger helper's a good meal.
It is.
I'm not shitting on that.
That's all she knew how to cook at the time because we were so young, you know. So it was funny that, you know, and we couldn't afford to go out to eat at all. Absolutely none.
So at least 2 times a month, my wife and I will eat what I call shitty nachos.
Yeah.
Just tortilla chips with shredded cheese in the microwave with pickled jalapenos and El Paso taco sauce on it.
There you go. Heck yeah, that's the best.
And it's like we'd be sitting around trying to figure out what we want to eat. It'd just be like, nothing sounds good. And I'm going to go make shitty nachos.
Shitty nachos. I like it. I like that. That's the West Texas in you right there, man.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't get all of it. You can't get rid of it completely. No, it's just who you are.
Yeah, it's always in you.
30-something years.
Absolutely.
Here, man.
Absolutely.
So that's an interesting point to make, too, is that when you start a business, and a lot of people see that in entrepreneurs, they look at you or they look at Aaron and they look at these guys doing things and they think, man, those guys killed it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that day one.
Yeah. We wish it was like that.
Oh, God, that would be amazing. Yeah. Everybody would do it then.
Yeah.
But the reality is there are times where you're thinking, man, I might lose everything.
Yeah. Yep.
One of the guys I interviewed for this podcast, he said he described entrepreneurism as a sickness like you did a moment ago.
It is.
and he said it's a particular sickness where you think, there are days where at 10 o'clock in the morning you think I'm a billionaire.
Yeah.
And by noon, you're broke.
Yep.
And by the end of the day, you're like, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's funny you say that whenever we started that wireline deal, which we lost our asses on. But in the beginning, it was awesome. And Tyler, referring back to one of my partners, he said, man, in the beginning of this thing, the first 6 months, I thought we were going to be billionaires. We were cashing checks, wake up every morning, look at the bank account, and it's great. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, where the hell's everything at? And that's where the mismanagement came in and couldn't retain the customer. I didn't have the time to go out all the time and babysit, so.
And that wasn't your role in that business anyway.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people when we start that business. 1, you're not going to be a millionaire day 1.
Right.
2, I will help you when I can. I'll be there. I could go get work,
Also, you might not be a millionaire ever.
Ever. That's a problem too, yeah.
Right.
And they got to understand that, We started a pump company, and the guy that we put into business, he was really young, really good at his job. And we're still doing that, and that thing's grown double every year since we started. And
That's
been
awesome.
5 years. Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. And he was young at the time. I believe he was 25 when we did it, and it was a gamble we took. It was a good one. But he told me 2 years into this deal, he said, "Shit, man, I thought I'd be buying a big house by now and all this shit." Absolutely not, Blake. I said, "You gotta understand. It takes time, man.
Sure.
And we're doing well. We're selling pumps to Kuwait Oil Company and doing all kinds of cool stuff. But with that being said, we're just now starting to kind of see some green, coming in. And that's another thing people don't understand is when you start a company, you better have, operating costs. You better have all that operating expenses, everything in place, or you're going to go belly up, 6 months into it.
And include in the operating expenses your salary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you got to live.
And, so that when you bringing that up, in my interviews on starting a new business, I'll tell somebody, what are you making right now? And we'll use round numbers. They'll say $100,000. Well, are you willing to make $50,000 for the first 2 years? Oh no, why would I do that? My job's paying me $100,000 right now. Well, you're about to get 30 or 20 or whatever percent equity in this company for $0, but you have to sacrifice, and you have to understand that this thing is going to take a lot to get going. So the company you're working for is not a brand new company paying you $100,000.
Right.
And you can pay that guy that if he's not taking any stake in the company. But when he is, he needs to understand he's got to sacrifice.
Right.
And when they say, no, I'm not willing to do that, that's my thing. I'm out. When they're skittish or something, I could help coach them through that. But when they're not willing to make the sacrifice for the company that they're about to own, absolutely not. I'm not in for that.
I mean, especially if you're giving them, that much equity in a company that they're putting no dollars in.
$0 down.
I mean, come on.
Yep, absolutely.
And so that, I think that's where you're going to see a lot of, that's where I would hesitate.
Yeah.
'Cause I make great money.
Yeah.
And if you're like, can you make half that? I'd be like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good where I'm at.
Yeah, my
Which
family's
is absolutely
great.
amazing. Yeah. Family's doing good.
But oftentimes I think too, I can't do that right now because I still got kids and this and that and the other thing. But if I didn't, and I wasn't have to worry about them and benefits and whatever else, all those other things, I would be much more inclined to take that risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, do you see that when you're having these conversations? Do younger people hesitate more than old? Oh, I don't want to say older, more experienced people.
More experienced people. Well, most of the time, your more experienced people are set up pretty good financially.
Sure.
The younger ones aren't so much always, but I would say it's still in both. I see it in both. So, but yeah, it's just one of them deals. If they're not willing to do it, then I'm not willing to put the money down with them.
You shouldn't be.
Yeah, absolutely.
You shouldn't be. So. But again, going back to what you were saying about when you first start off and everything, when you're having those conversations with your wife and you're saying, "Man, we're going to do this, and we don't have any money to do it, and we took all of Grandma's money, and so now she doesn't have any money, but we're going to do this." Was your wife completely on board, supportive? And if so, that's awesome.
I got a what the hell, and then let's do it. So 100% on board the whole time, stuck by me.
Man,
so,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So there will be others though that come in, and man, that would be almost a death knell before you even start.
Yeah.
If your spouse wasn't fully engaged on board.
Yeah. Or if I get one that says, "Hey, well, I'm gonna have to talk it over with my wife," which is, I understand that, right? It's a life-changing deal.
You should have done that before you came here, man.
But at the time, I tell them too, "Hey, I'm not partnering with your wife. I'm partnering with you. Or I'm not partnering with your husband. I'm partnering with you. We're gonna do this together. Every decision we make is not gonna be ran by. My wife knows hardly anything that goes on throughout my day, just because I don't want to talk about when I get home. Mm-hmm. She's raising kids. We're raising kids together. So I leave work at work. Unless that phone rings, of course, then you got to get on it. But yeah. But
your wife's been with you long enough now to know that that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
My wife's been with me now. We've been together 20 years, been married, I think it'll be 17 this year.
Yeah.
And I knew that answer faster than you did.
Yeah.
So my wife knows just the nature of what I do.
Yeah.
There are times where I got a pretty free day, kind of floating around doing kind of whatever, and can be more present with her.
Yeah.
And then there are times where it's like, hey, see you in a week, and I just jet, and she's been through all of that, so she's comfortable with it. It's the oil field life for sure. But when I think through that, and I've seen, and I'm sure you have too, seen guys start businesses and just burn down relationship after relationship, marriage after marriage.
Yep.
And you and your wife have been together, like you said, since you were 15. So how do you guard against that? Because that's a big thing, and I think if one of the reasons I'll tell you that I'm hesitant ever to start a business is knowing how much it takes to do that from a commitment standpoint, and knowing that currently that juice isn't worth the squeeze on my relationship.
Yeah.
So how do you guard against that?
Man, I don't know. She's tough, I guess. It is. It's very rough. It's hard, and I'm hard headed, and I'm a go getter, and I want it done right. And if I don't think something's going the right way, I'm going to be on top of it. I'm going to be there. So, I guess just having the right teammate, and that's kind of how she's been. So it's been good. But
so your answer is you don't guard against it. You're just fortunate to have someone that puts up with it.
Yeah, I'm horrible at it. Absolutely.
Gosh, it's something that I've just witnessed, just in my, just in life, watching guys, and you'll see guys that are hugely successful financially.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, your kids are a wreck. You're on your fourth marriage. You're like, good God, man, what cost is this?
That's almost every celebrity, right? I mean, so
almost every, but it's just it seems like such a cost for for what?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's monetary success is one thing.
Yeah.
But man, that just seems like a
Holding it all
big
down.
price to pay.
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
So you've started a ton of businesses, but most of them have started after stealth.
Yeah, yeah. So,
And started with others.
yep.
And as almost like an investment type company.
Yeah, yeah. Me and my parents do a lot together, and then me and another guy, Tyler, we do a lot together. And we have a company called Tyco Energy Partners, and that's what we do. You know, we throw it down. We somebody comes to us, and if we like it, we'll do it. You know, but me and him we do most of the deals together as a team. So me and my parents do a lot of deals together. We've started this whole deal together and grew it together. You know, definitely wasn't one of them kids that came into a bunch of money. I wish I was. That would have been awesome. You know. And you get a lot of stories going on out there, right? It's a small oil field.
Sure.
But that wasn't the case. But we do a lot of deals together. But yeah, that's kind of what I do, kind of like an investment group.
You said doo-doo again.
Doo-doo.
I can't put up with that kind of language.
I'm from West Odessa, man.
That's right. I'm surprised it's only happened a couple of times then.
That's right.
So, but you're right. I mean, people. I wonder if you'd have been one of those kids that did just have a trust fund, right? That just came into a ton of money. If you'd have had the same ethic to work and get it done, and same appetite to do what. I remember there was a kid that I went to high school with, and his family was, and people in West Texas will know these names. Like his mom was a Cowden, and his dad was as wealthy as a Cowden.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, oil leases are named after those people. Yeah,
correct.
absolutely.
Entire fields are named after.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so his dad, every day he got up, went downtown, collected royalty checks, put them in the bank, and came home.
Yeah.
And I remember asking my friend, you know, we were sitting around 15 years old, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know, that kind of stuff, a conversation. And he said, I'm not going to do anything. I don't have to. And I remember at 15 thinking, well, your life sucks.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to work for anything. And so I just wonder if that had been, number one, it'd been nice to have seen what would happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's try it. Can we rewind?
Can we try that?
You know, and I wouldn't change this for anything. I'm glad how it was. If I was that way, I don't think I would have been, because I love seeing things grow, and I love seeing people grow.
Yeah.
And just sitting around, you don't get to do that. I do have a very good friend, and he's come from a very wealthy family. His dad has oil and gas. They do a lot of things, but he's built on his own a very successful pipeline company. You know, and I like that. I love that about the guy.
Right.
You know, he's done very well for himself. You know, of course, he's got, I'm sure, trust funds and all this, because I know he does actually. But what he's done for himself is absolutely amazing, and I think that's how I would have been. You know.
Yeah, I get it. Your personality is one that I can't imagine. Even if you had, you know, $100 million in the bank as a, you know, let's say your trust fund matured when you were 20, and all of a sudden you're handed millions of dollars. I don't think you'd have done anything except, how can I invest this millions and millions of dollars and build stuff?
How can I go do something to build this? Yeah. And I wouldn't just want to invest in stock. Well, I want to see something grow that I'm a part of, you know, and that's kind of how I'm rigged. That is how I'm rigged up 100%. So I don't have no idle. There's no neutral in my gearbox.
It certainly doesn't seem to be.
Yeah.
So then, man, you're just going to keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever stop, you know. I really don't. Whether it's, you know, I've got into real estate recently within the last couple of years, and that's been great. We've grown that, blew it up, and that's been a fun thing.
And when you say get into real estate, what are you doing?
So we're flipping properties from commercial to residential. We have several rentals from commercial to residential. Land development, which means going and buying ranches, splitting them up, selling ranches off into smaller pieces. You know, stuff like that. So I'm not just, you know, being a realtor, but I'm doing all kinds of other investment type deals and such. So
did you see? So I've made a comment a few times before with friends of mine, just talking about like when COVID happened and all of the commercial. I feel like being in commercial real estate would be a bit of a challenge, given how many people can work from home now and how comfortable companies have gotten with that.
Yeah. Have
you seen that from your commercial real estate side?
Not at all. So we don't have office buildings. We have a partner, Keith, and he's very strategic in what we do, and our whole group is. So what we do is we buy offices, but they also have the shops, the warehouses, and all this where you have to store stuff, or where the guys have to come show up every day to work to get the job done, whether they're building skids or rebuilding frac pumps or whatever. They have to actually be there physically, or it's not going to work. So that's the kind of real estate we go after, stuff like that.
Gotcha. So you're not just having like cube farms.
No, not at all.
That would be brutal to have that right now.
So we had a chance to buy a pretty good, tall, cool building downtown Midland, and that have made our portfolio look pretty cool. Pretty damn cool, yeah. But we're like, exactly what you said. Well, there's a shit ton of people working from home. What in the hell do we do there? We want a warehouse attached to our office buildings, where people have to show up to work. So,
instead of an office building that you just use as a warehouse.
Yeah, absolutely. yeah. As our own storage. We don't want that. So
that's correct. So when you look at your and that's such a diversification from oil field to that. What is something that you've not gotten into that you would love to get into?
Man, I don't even know how to answer that question, because I think I would love to be into everything, right? I definitely want to diversify more out of oil and gas.
That's almost exactly what I thought you'd say.
Yeah, spot on, man. Yeah. Spot on. I definitely like to diversify. Oil and gas is majority of my stuff. We did the real estate deal. It's absolutely amazing. Something in the medical field would be what I'd like to do next, Not sure what, but something will come my way. So,
yeah, something definitely will, because just because you don't stand still, you'll come across something.
We took a big couples trip to a Morgan Wallen concert in San Antonio, and we have a friend, and she just became a nurse practitioner, and it's one of my good friend's wives, and I was on her, but I said, hey, let's figure out how to do this. Let's get a doctor on board. I'll fund it all. Let's open our own practice, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to offer all this for the oil and gas companies, and one of them nervous persons, that trying to just got to talk into doing it. But
yeah, so just getting at oil and gas companies, you're thinking like an occupational doc, something like that.
Absolutely, something
that would be awesome.
And I have a lot of connections, and I think I could get a lot of my friends that own businesses to get on there. But that's just how my mind is, man. I'm at a Morgan Wallen concert trying to figure out how to make a business, or how to design a business and grow it, So
it makes sense. I mean, you're not going to listen to the music; it's terrible. So why would you? Might as well do business.
Don't tell my wife that.
Yeah. Not really my style, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. What is something that you have gotten into, and you can't say wireline again because you already have, that if you did it again, you'd do differently, and what would you do differently?
Chemical company. That is a great business to be in. I know absolutely shit about it.
When you say chemical, you're talking about like water treatment?
So, yeah, water treatment, H2S treatment,
Gotcha.
Stuff like that. That's a hell of a business to be in. But like I said, I know absolutely shit about it. Had the wrong guy doing it. That would be the one I'd like to do all over again, because chemical, you're not just in the oil and gas. You can do a lot of things with chemical once you expand and get out, But yeah, that'd be the one for sure. Absolutely.
What would you do different?
People.
People.
Back to it. People. Yeah. People has been everything in anything that I had, and I've had two that have failed, and that's chemical and wireline. I hate those. I hate wireline. I hate that word, right? But yeah, it makes me sick. But chemical, it would be that one, and it's people. It's been people both times. But yeah, it could be great. Like I said, and I've even got the connections to get the work for it, but just had the wrong guy in place. So dishonesty, that killed that deal.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's where that was, and it wasn't a good situation. That could have been very good, but these people can't wait until you're 2 to 3 years in it. They want to get rich overnight. It just don't happen. It's never going to happen unless you just hit the lottery.
It's not going to happen. And again, in a lot of cases, I think people would be shocked to learn how many people own businesses that are successful businesses, and they're not millionaires.
Yeah,
They're not just killing it.
Yeah, it doesn't happen like that all the time.
They're making good money, and they're living a nice life, but they're working, all the time to make that happen.
Yep.
And it just, you just don't know.
Yeah, no,
you
absolutely
just don't
not.
know.
I will be one of those guys that'll never have millions in the bank because I'm always using mine to grow something else or to do something else,
Right.
Lots of assets, right? Just doing different things, but you're absolutely right, 100%. So
it's so telling, and it's something that I don't know how you break that in people that haven't experienced it, and people that do get in with that misconception. Inevitably, I'd rarely see that be successful.
Yeah, you're not. It's not going to happen. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
Well, because they start taking more than they should from the company.
Yeah, yep.
Because they're trying to supplement what they think they should have already, and it just doesn't work out. What? So does your wife have the same entrepreneurial spirit?
We got 4 kids. She's taking care of 4 kids. Yeah, that's a full-time job within itself. And
she has Kidco.
Yeah, I tell her all the time. Sometimes I go to work just to get a break, So
oh man,
I don't know how
you're
they
telling
do
me.
it.
So I'm out here in West Texas, and I'll call my wife, and I have my daughter and my granddaughter are living at the house now.
Yeah.
And then my youngest daughter actually is out here right now with the in-laws, but I'll call back, and she's like, well, how was your hotel last night? And I was like, it was nice.
Nice and quiet.
It was real nice.
Nobody in the bed.
Yeah, it was so nice. I had the air down to about 65 because I like it like that.
Yeah.
But you're right. And gosh, that's a job.
Yeah,
man.
no, it is 100%.
4 kids. How old are your kids?
So the oldest is 14. We had him pretty young. The second is 10. The third is 7, and then the other one's 5. So they're all boom, boom, boom right there. So
You done?
done. I don't want to be, but she's done. So
Of course you don't want to be.
Yeah.
So let's keep doing this.
yeah, I love it. I love the kids, man. They're fun. They keep us going.
Kids are awesome, man.
They're very active. They're into every sport there can be. From football to cheer to soccer to everything. So
I think that's important. I was raised playing team sports,
Yep.
whether it was soccer or whatever, basketball.
Yep.
And then as I got older, I tended to gravitate more towards a team sport that was an individual effort. So golf, tennis, and then now train jiu-jitsu, same thing. If we go to a tournament, you're there as a team, but definitely when you're fighting,
it's you.
Yeah,
you can't tag your partner in.
You can't go help. And so it's interesting, but I do think that playing team sports taught me the importance of being able to trust and rely on somebody else.
Absolutely.
And then when that person fails or you fail inevitably, seeing that there's forgiveness is the wrong word, but there's not just a smashing of you.
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, that could happen to me too.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so what do? Let's get better, and next time we're going to win. And
we're going to figure it out together.
We're going to figure it out as a team.
Yep.
And I think that's critical. And I wonder how many people that don't play team sports like that. I wonder what their perspective is when they are in a company or in a team that they're seeing that happen. I wonder.
I think team sports is key to everything. Whenever we're doing good, I want to have somebody to share that with, right? Whenever we're doing bad, I want to have somebody to hide with and like, man, what the hell, like you said, what the hell can we do? How can we fix this? My big thing is I never want to own a company 100%. I never want it to be me. Reason number 1, bounce ideas. I love everybody having their own opinion. You figure it out together as a team. When it's one mind, it's one way, right? So you got 2 people.
And it could be the wrong way.
Yeah, and absolutely. So you got 2 people, and you might butt heads, or you might have 3 or 4 people. We have business with several owners, but you're figuring it out together. It's not just a one my way or no way, So I've always said I never want to do nothing 100%. So
I would never, to your point, I would never want 100% ownership, and I would never do a 50-50 deal.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be able to say, no, we're doing it this way.
Yep.
And I've seen a couple of instances where a 50-50 partnership, it's good till it's not.
Yeah.
It's good till you get to a point where you're at sort of an impasse. You can't. You just don't see eye to eye, and you're like, well, I want to go this way, and they're like, well, I own as much as you do, so we're going this way, and you just don't do anything.
So I do have some that are 50-50, and one of them was the Tyco that stood for Tyler and Cody, and that was the vacuum truck company, and it was 50-50. We sold it. It went well. We didn't talk for a while, after that, but then we kind of rekindled. We're like, man, this is stupid. We're better than that. We're closer than that. And then we have Tyco Energy Partners and a few other things that are just me and him, and it's all 50-50. We're both really headstrong, but we're so different in so many different ways. We're just the total opposite, and for some reason it has always just worked, and we figure it out amongst each other, and it works out, and that's been really good. But I'm with you on the 50-50 deals. It can be very rough. So
with that example though, I would say that going back to what you first said, you guys had a business together. The business did well enough that you sold it, you made money, and then you didn't talk for a while. For some reason. And
so there's a reason we sold it, and it sold very well, and we did very well for ourselves. But that was kind of the whole reason in selling it. But we rekindled, we got back together, and did all these other things, and it's been really cool. But
but what you realized was that your vision and direction complements his opposite vision
Yeah.
and direction.
Yep, absolutely.
And so you guys learn
It
how to
does.
navigate that.
We
So if
do.
you're going to have a 50-50, one, it's got to be the most transparent
Yep.
business relationship known to mankind.
no feelings involved in our meetings.
No
None,
feelings.
none.
And at the end of the day, you got to be willing to you call him a motherfucker and get up and walk
Yeah,
out.
yep. And he can
then,
handle it.
And then he'd do the same to you.
Yep.
And 20 minutes later, like, hey, what are we doing for lunch?
But my thing was, and he's never been like this, but I'm you know, especially when I was younger, if somebody's talking shit, I just want to beat the fuck out of them. Like, hey, I'm whooping your ass. We're getting this over. But
And Gilbert told me today you can fight.
Yeah, ask Gilbert.
And I said, he's a trained fighter, or is he? He's just gangster and shit. That's what he told me. I was like, oh, well, that's different. That's a whole different level.
Yeah, I don't play by rules.
Right.
But
Well,
that's always
right.
been my thing, man. I was like, that's how I've always acted. And he was always totally different. And I've kind of even learned how to calm down, you know, through him as well. And he's, you know, we learn from each other. And like you said, we complement each other, but we do got to understand, and we both do, that we have to give. Sometimes it's not always the best idea, you know, or motherfuck each other and be okay with it and go on.
That's right. That's right. Have you ever? Has he ever relinquished control to you on an idea that didn't pan out?
No, we kind of own everything together, man. Just, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. So you talk about give and take. I was just wondering if there's ever an example where he was like, I don't necessarily share that vision, but okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. So he is good with that, you know, and I'm learning to be as well. So
Yeah, but did he ever do that and it didn't, and you were wrong?
No, I never got anything rubbed in the face or anything like that.
But that was
So,
my next question.
Yeah, yeah.
When that happens, is there like a
Yeah, that might have been when we were throwing some hands in, you know. I don't know if I could handle that.
It's like when I let my wife pick a movie and it's absolutely terrible. I'm like, well, you've lost your movie privileges
Yeah.
for at least a week.
Yeah, you're done for a while.
Yeah.
And then like whenever we do so me and my parents were equal partners in everything that we do. And my dad's going to kill me, but anytime we do something, I'll just tell my mom, hey, I'll just make it seem like his idea, and that way it goes, you know, because he's
Right,
very
right.
headstrong and I am, and we sometimes we'll clash, but we figure it out. But
You just do the end around on
yeah,
him.
I've learned now, hey, make it seem like his idea, and it's going to work out good, you know. So it's been a good deal.
So it's awesome though that you have to figure that out in life. You know how to approach different people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially as an entrepreneur, and you're building a business, and you're going out and you're talking to your potential clients or existing clients,
Yep.
and with the mindset of, you know, what triggers this guy to buy
Yep.
is not what's going to trigger this guy to buy.
Absolutely. I fit in with anybody. That's my thing. If he's a horse racer, I'm going to race horses. If he's a golfer, I'm going to talk about golf, even though I've never swung a club in my life. You know, I fit in where I could get in. You know, and that's kind of my deal. Whatever I got to do, and I owe that to my mom. She's hands down the best salesman out of any of our companies. You know, as the owner of one, even, you know, or a few, and she's hands down the best. And I've learned that from her. Her personality is second to none. You can't find another one like her. So
I had that conversation with my youngest daughter, and I said, if I can tell you any advice in life to be successful, it's figure out how to be a part of any conversation
Yep.
at any time
Yep.
in any setting.
Any setting. My mom's picked up customers, a ConocoPhillips customer, for example, at Academy in line, just starting up a conversation, and then, you know, she leads into the other deal, and next thing you know, they're talking about work, what each other does, and boom, he's calling the next day for a downhole tool. You know, he's calling for a packer.
But you know what that is? That's not just having the wherewithal to have a conversation with someone you're standing in line with.
Yeah,
That conversation happens. I mean, people do that all the time.
yeah, absolutely.
It's being able to have a conversation that is a genuine conversation.
Yep.
That the person knows you're genuinely interested in what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
And that goes a long way in any relationship. You know,
Yep.
you're talking about in context of sales, but especially in business or, you know, you're doing anything. If you're not genuine, people sniff that out.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And my mom, she's the most genuine person you'll ever meet. Sometimes she's overly nice too, and I have to tell her, hey, you gotta quit giving so much, or you know, we would be broke. She would give every job away we do, you know, if it was up to her.
Right.
So, yeah, but you're absolutely right. Being genuine that's the key right there. So
I think that if you're genuine, you're probably you're more than 50% of the way to
100%.
being successful.
Yep,
I mean,
absolutely.
if you're just truthful, genuine person, I mean, you almost can't go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then the rest of it is on you to work and get it done.
My thing is, if anybody in the oilfield doesn't like me or us or anything, it's not because I've screwed them over, because we absolutely don't do that. But it's because I'm super honest, I'm super upfront, and I'm really to the point, right? So
Yeah.
I say what I'm feeling.
It's because you told them their well was trash.
Absolutely. Well, some people can't handle the truth, you know, and they don't
yeah.
like it. But
Or they don't wanna hear it at
I don't
all.
want to bullshit nobody, especially if it's a customer signing an invoice. Hey, he's going to know the truth, you know.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
What advice would you give somebody that's thinking about starting a business? And if you say, I think I know what you're going to say, but you can't just say, well, just do it.
Yeah.
Just go, man. What advice would you give somebody that's like, man, I really think that I have something here. What would you tell them to help them know they had something?
So if it's somebody that has a career already, something rolling for them, they're doing well, have a great salary, get rid of all your payments, get rid of all your shit, everything you have, right? 100%. Keep your house, something you have to live in, and keep a car. But be ready to take half of your pay or even less than that to get started, right? You have to get rid of all the nice shit. If you have an extra car, if you have a motorcycle, if you have anything you have, you can't have nothing financed. You better be ready to be broke for at least 2 years. That's my biggest advice right there. And people just don't understand it. But you got to have capital. And then, you're not always going to be able to take a salary. Hell, we went 2 years before, not consecutive, but, over time, 2 years without ever getting a paycheck even. So people don't understand that. That steady paycheck goes away. So
when you started that business when you were 21, did you go into it with that mindset? Like, well, yes, won't get paid for a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's kind of what I prepare myself for. I'm leaving this really nice job with a really good pay. And, I know it's going to be bad. So got rid of the chopper, got rid of a lot of things, man. And it was rough. We were a one family car and I had a work truck, and kind of just used that. But if you're not willing to do that, you absolutely don't start. Don't get into it.
What would you say to somebody that said, I've got this really good business that I work for and I make good money, and they're like, start a side hustle? You're
not going to give it 100%. You start a side hustle, and depending on the side hustle, right? If you're going to go sell Tupperware, that's okay, right? But
do they still sell Tupperware?
I have no idea.
Dude, I remember being a kid and they would host Tupperware parties at houses.
yeah, that was.
And I've still got some Tupperware that my mom had.
So it's a good product.
Indestructible.
Yeah, damn good product.
It's indestructible. It still seals and everything.
But
it is the weirdest color orange you'd ever imagine, though.
If you're wanting to start something, though, like say a service company or a full-blown real company, you have to be willing to quit your comfort job, quit your everyday guaranteed paycheck, and give it your all. That's what I would say there. A side hustle, that'll always be a side hustle. If you're not giving it 100%, you're not going to grow it. Absolutely not. It's just not going to happen. So
all in or all out.
All in or all out. That's the only thing that's the only way it'll work. So, I'm a big believer in that.
Awesome. So what else you doing? You just hanging out?
Just hanging out, yeah. Just I don't know, figuring out what's next, I guess. So
always looking for what's next.
Always, yeah. While I'm watching the market and seeing what's going on, right, with all this inflation and.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting market. There's several people I've interviewed that started their businesses right in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
And their businesses are doing great.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a unique time to just say, yeah, now's the time.
Absolutely.
And maybe it was that they were at home and drawing a paycheck and had plenty of extra time.
Extra time while getting that. Yeah.
Right. And maybe that was it.
Yeah.
And maybe there was some. There's some government assistance available too.
And there was.
And so maybe it was the right time to do it. But yeah, man. So that mentality, I think, has served you well, obviously.
Absolutely.
Just, that always keeping one eye out, looking for the next thing, never being, complacent.
Yep.
How do you distinguish between complacency and contentment?
I wouldn't even know how to answer that, honestly.
Yeah.
I just, man, I don't know.
Because you're neither of those things?
Neither. I can't be. Absolutely not. You're exactly right. But, yeah. One other thing, too, that I would give to somebody starting a new company or wanting to do it, when I first started this deal, I have to deal with engineers quite often.
Mm-hmm.
Big degrees, great schools, Colorado School of Mines, stuff like that,
Right.
And I have no degree, right? I've had a high school education, and so that was always kind of intimidating to me, right? And I'm from West Odessa, the guy that wasn't supposed to make it.
Mm-hmm.
After I've kind of just got over that, man, and you got to realize if you don't have a degree, that's fine. Don't let that slow you down. If you don't have to be educated in any certain thing to do this, right? Your college professor that got you that degree, that taught you that degree, he don't have a business. He's
teaching college. Yeah.
Absolutely. So don't let that slow you down. Do not let that hold you back. Give it hell. If you give it 100% and you know what you're doing, do it. Don't let a degree, don't let any piece of paper hold you back from anything.
I think that's amazing advice, actually. I don't have a degree either.
Yeah,
and
love it.
I remember as
I'm not saying don't get a degree.
Right.
Get it, if you can. Absolutely.
and in fairness to that, oil and gas is one industry where it does reward hard work and people
Absolutely.
that go and get it.
Absolutely.
And you can
So does real estate. There's a lot,
Right. There are things. Manufacturing is another industry.
Absolutely.
But if you're a go-getter, you can make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just remember as a kid being just enamored by the executives, right? The
Yeah.
guys in the $5,000 suit
Yep.
and doing that, and I was like, man, I want that.
Yeah.
I've said this on another one where I remember thinking, well, if I could ever have a job where I had to fly for work, I'd made it.
Yeah, that's
and
good
then
stuff.
I got that, and I was like, this sucks so
I'm never
bad.
home.
This is the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And but I remember when I decided that college wasn't quite right for me. I wasn't gonna. Not that I couldn't do the work. I just whatever reason I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, for me that didn't change. I want that.
Yeah.
I want to be an executive. I go, well, I just got to figure out a different way to get
A different way. Yeah, there's more than one route to anything.
That's
Absolutely.
right. And I think that's the important thing to understand about entrepreneurship is that there's no right way to do it.
Yeah.
There's just doing it.
Yeah,
And it looks
absolutely.
different for everybody.
Yeah.
And to your point, for me, what's interesting is I was very intimidated by not having a degree for a while.
Yeah.
But I've been in doing this for so long now that most of the time when I'm in those rooms, I don't ever think about it.
Yep.
It really never enters my mind until sometimes if I ever end up in the job market and you're having conversations with people and they're like, oh, you don't have a degree. And it's like, so?
Yeah.
I mean, look at what I've
Look
done,
at this
man.
experience. So look at my sheet.
Look at what
Yeah,
I've done. And
absolutely.
and it's been interesting to see that sometimes that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that would be an advocate for getting a degree. But at the same time, I would say you don't have to have one.
Yeah, yeah.
Just go. And if you're going to saddle yourself with a tremendous amount of student loan debt or whatever to get that degree, it better be one in engineering.
Yes.
It better be one in doctor.
Be a doctor,
It better be
lawyer.
something like that
Yep,
that's going to pay
absolutely.
high wages and not, some theological thing that you're going to do or some theory or basket weaving or whatever.
Yeah.
You better have something that's going to be a high demand, high pay skill.
Yep.
And if you don't, I would encourage people not to take on tremendous debt.
Go learn a skill. Go learn a trade.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then figure that trade out. And then if you want to be an entrepreneur, figure out how to turn that trade into a business.
Right.
That's my biggest thing is figure it out without having to do that. I was never going to get a degree. We didn't have the funds. We didn't have the means as a family. I didn't have I couldn't do calculus, right? I mean, I'm just not that guy. I'm not a book guy. I figure out things street smart. That's me, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's how I figure things out. So I wasn't going to get my college paid for. So my parents made just enough where I couldn't get any help, right?
Right.
But not enough to send me. So
Right.
straight to the pulling unit it was, man. And that was my degree. So, yeah.
It's worked out.
It has,
no
has.
doubt. And part of that is that, that's a degree, man.
100%.
You figure out business. You
Yep.
figure out what work is. And there's, I guarantee you, without even asking the question, there's an appreciation for those guys that go out in the heat every day
100%.
because you've been there.
Yep, been there.
And
There's
I've
not-
been there.
There's
And-
not anything I have that I haven't done,
Right.
So,
And I've been there. I started off in safety as a tech, going out and filling fire extinguishers
Yeah.
on location and
Yep.
doing that kind of stuff. And you just move up and you're like, okay, well, I have an appreciation for what those guys
Yeah,
are doing.
yeah, you know
And-
what they're doing.
and I know what that's like. And I know what it takes to be out there. And
And that's another thing. You can't just expect to start at the top, right?
Right.
Even if you own the thing, you better know what you're doing. You better know how to run that piece of equipment.
dude, every business that you started, I guarantee you began as a worker / owner.
Yeah, absolutely. Except for that wireline deal, that was a little over my head, and I just.
Well, that's a different.
But everything, no, absolutely.
But you didn't start that. That wasn't your first thing.
Yeah, that was my first thing. Yeah, that was an investment deal.
Yeah, you were already doing okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you did that,
Absolutely.
But you're right. I mean, that's so invaluable, and I think it's important. My dad had that same mentality when I was a kid, and I was watching him start and grow businesses. I'm never going to ask you to do something I haven't done myself.
Absolutely. Or that I won't do.
I'm not willing to do.
Yep, absolutely.
And he just carried that over with me. And it's funny. My wife will ask me. I went and bought a new lawnmower.
Yeah.
Here recently,
Yeah.
and she goes, "Why are you still mowing the yard? We can pay people to do that." And I said, "Well, I was raised that you don't pay someone to do something you can
Yeah,
do.
you're totally capable of.
And,
Absolutely.
and number one, and number two, God, there's just something about looking back on a yard you just mowed
Yeah.
and being like, I did that.
Yeah.
Look
Oh,
at
yeah.
that.
That's
Look at
what
those
I did.
lines are so straight.
Progress is everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be the yard guy, but my son's 14 now, so I handed those keys over So let him
Well,
get after
I
it.
only had daughters, and so there's something in me that wouldn't allow them to do that.
Yeah, which is fine. Yeah, you're raising them right.
Well,
The
my
husband better
wife
love
is she's something else, man. She is a tomboy through and through, West
Yeah.
Texas girl, and she's like, I'll go weed eat, and I'm like, it's just something in me as a man. I can't let her do it.
Yeah, yeah.
She'd probably do it better than I do.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But I just as a man, I'm like, I can't look
I
out
got
there and
this.
see my wife doing that.
Absolutely.
You know? That's been the hardest part about working from home for me, man.
Yeah.
Because my office is upstairs, and I can hear her downstairs. She doesn't work, so I can hear her downstairs doing things. And there's this just in me, like, oh, I need to go help her.
I need to be
help her.
doing
I need to
this.
help her.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've gotten over it a bit, but
That's just the man in you. That's the West Texas man in you. We're different here.
there's a
We
different
are.
breed, man.
Yeah.
And I West Texas. If people ask, there are two things West Texas is known for: Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
And then Jessica McClure, which probably predates you.
Yeah.
Definitely predates you.
I know who it is, but
you know
predate
what it
me.
was.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
girl that fell in the well.
Yep.
And those were always things that people said when I would say I was from Midland. They would
Yeah.
go, "Oh, Jessica McClure."
Jessica from the Well. Yeah.
Or they would say Permian Panthers, and I'm like, "That's in a whole different city."
Well, I'm on the other side of town, and I hated those guys. You know.
Well,
So, yeah.
they're easy. To
Yeah,
hate.
absolutely.
But man, what was fun for me living here is that it is just a different breed of person.
Yep, it is.
And it doesn't matter whether you're from Midland or Odessa, and we give each other shit.
Oh yeah, and we will till the day
you're
we die.
supposed to.
Yeah, that's part of it.
But it's just it's a hardworking culture and a group of people that just go to work.
Yeah.
And just get it done.
Yep.
You know, and I tell people all the time, if you need me there at 4, I'm there at 4. If you need me there at noon, I'm there at noon.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you need, man.
There's no set schedule, not in the oil field.
No.
Or
No.
being a business owner, you don't have a set schedule. You don't know what you're going to be doing.
No.
You may have a vacation planned. You better get ready to cancel it. You know,
Dude, we went to
it's gonna
Cabo.
happen.
We went to Cabo one year, and the company I worked for, I was a regional manager for them. They were like, "Oh, you're going to Cabo for 10 days? Cool. We're going to pay for you a data plan on your iPad." And so there were times I was sitting on the beach while my wife is, hanging out, sleeping,
Yep.
whatever. Kids are playing, and I'm just going through email. And what I appreciated about that after the fact, in the beginning, I was like, "This son of a bitch."
Yeah, this is bullshit.
But I thought, okay, well, I can either come back from vacation to 1,000 emails that I've got to figure out,
Yeah.
or I can just stay on top of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just so easy to stay on top of
And
it.
you'll always find downtime for it, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And anymore with technology, it's so easy to just kind of do that.
Yeah,
Right? And just
yeah.
work from anywhere if you're smart about it. So
And that's another thing. Being an entrepreneur, your first 3 years, you're not going to make any money, and there's no such thing as a vacation. First off, you don't have the time to take a vacation.
No.
You know, it's impossible. If you're going to be there and make it successful, that's the critical time. It's like raising a kid. You know, the most important time is when it's a baby. You know, it can't take care of itself, so
Right.
you got to be there taking care of it. That's the thing. And then when you do get a chance to take vacation, your phone's not going to stop. So get ready.
So that brings up an interesting question as you're saying that. At what point, and it's going to be different for every business I know, but what do you look for as your businesses are growing to that? Is there a benchmark that you look to say, okay, this is a self-sustaining thing now. This is something that I can take a break from. And your personality, I would imagine, it's probably difficult for you to disengage and take a break at any point from anything.
So if it's self-sustaining, it's not growing, in my opinion. So no, there's no point. Like, okay, well, it's running really smooth. What do we need to add to it? Now we can grow. Everything's running good. Let's grow. Let's figure out a different division or a different area to open up. You know, that's kind of how I think.
So maybe, and of course that's how you think, but but kind of what I'm saying is, at what point do you look for a certain thing before you're like, okay, I could take a break from this for a week?
Yeah, it goes back to people.
Mm-hmm.
If I have the right people in place, we design it our way, train them our way, listen to their ways, and we kind of implement procedures and, policies for everything. But when you have the right people in place, then that's when it's time.
So there's a couple times now that you mentioned your way.
Yeah.
And obviously your way is proven more times than not to be
It's not perfect, but
successful.
it's a way, yeah.
What would you describe that as? What is your way? What is the Gill way?
So it's business. I guess it would be business specific, just depending on what we do. But the biggest thing for our way is structure. Structure is key. If you don't have structure, you don't have nothing. You don't have anything.
And by structure, you mean like a hierarchy of management, or describe what structure means? And it's probably business specific, obviously, but structure.
Yeah, so a management hierarchy for sure. A routine. Our guys are going to have a routine. You got to have a routine. Our military has a routine, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's part of it. So we do have competition that they get to take their trucks home, right? And this is Stealth Oilwell. They get to take their trucks home. They don't have to come in. They don't have to do anything unless they get a job. Not us. We're here every morning, 5 days a week at 6 a.m. Our guys are on call every other weekend, but with that, it's structure, and they're learning to be a better person. They're not sleeping in. They're not being lazy. If you're at the house and it's 9 a.m. and you're just laying around and you get a call, hey, you got a job, you got to go. They're not going to want to go. They haven't been moving. They've been laying around eating donuts all day.
Right.
So structure with time management, just all of that plays into it. And I'll ask them, hey guys, I know you came from Brand X. We've trained you our way. What do you think? And they'll tell you straight up, I love this structure. I really do.
So you're really just breeding discipline into people.
It's discipline, yeah, absolutely.
And what's interesting about that is, with jiu-jitsu, my training schedule, I'll tell you, people say, what's your schedule? I say, I train 4 days a week. Train Monday evening, and then Tuesday morning, it's a 5:30 in the morning class.
Yeah.
Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, 5:30 in the morning. And people go, man, getting up that early sucks. I was like, I get that up that early every day.
Regardless, yeah.
Because if I don't, I won't.
Yep.
So back October of last year, I had to have hernia surgery because of some big bastard was laying on me, and I had to get him off of me. And I was successful, but he maybe won the war, right?
Yeah.
So, I had surgery on a Wednesday. Obviously, I didn't go to Thursday class. That following Tuesday at 5:30 in the morning, I walked in. Can't do anything.
But you're there.
But I'm there.
Yep.
And my coach was like, man, I didn't think you'd be here. And I was like, if I don't keep this schedule in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, when this is ready to go, I'm not going to want to do this.
You'll be trash, yeah.
And so I tell people all the time, say Monday night as we're leaving, people are leaving, I'm like, see you in the morning. And you'll have people go, I'll do everything I can to get there. I said, won't see you tomorrow.
Yeah, you won't be there.
100% won't be there.
Don't have that attitude.
And if there's, I've missed a handful of them, and they were all because of legit reasons. But that mentality, if you say you're going to be there, and a person goes, "I'll do everything I can," you won't be.
Yeah, you're not going to be there.
And so
that's telling you no in a nice way.
That's that translated is no, like not going to go to that. It was 5:30 in the morning to get over that
bullshit.
That's ridiculous. Who does that at this time? Who wants to fight people at 5:30 in the morning?
Yeah, exactly. And that goes back to us. You go interview with Brand X and you come interview with us. You take your truck home. You don't have to do shit, unless we call you. You come to us at 6 a.m. every morning. If not,
your truck lives here, not there.
Yeah, it lives here. If you're not here on time, you're going to lose your bonus because we give a performance bonus every month, and stuff like that. So it sounds a lot better going over there. But as a person, it makes you a lot better coming over here, And that's the thing, too. And my dad's big on this in our safety meetings. And we want to not only make you better here, but make you better for your family, You don't want to be lazy. You want to be able to go outside and throw that ball with your kid or whatever, So
Right. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like, if you're undisciplined in any part of your life, it's only a matter of time.
The whole life
before your whole life is completely
it'll
undisciplined.
It will.
It will.
It's a disease. It is.
I think that's a fantastic way to do things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to say, you know what, we're here every morning at 6.
Yep.
Which means you probably get here at 5.
Yeah, we're here earlier than them for sure, and the managers too, for sure. So
right, and
getting the day ready.
And if you've got that culture, the people that want to be a part of that culture are going to stay forever.
Yep.
And the people that can't be or don't want to be, they'll select themselves out.
So we have had that situation where they didn't want to be. They hated the idea. They've left, and then they said, "Hey, can we get a shot again?" And a lot of times, if they leave us in the right way, we'll give them a chance, to come back. And we know a good one, even though it takes some bad to get out of them, he'll be good. We'll let them come back, and they will. They're like, "Man, we love this way a lot better. We're a lot more successful. We catch a lot more jobs." So it is. You're right.
We saw that at Wildcat.
Yeah.
We've seen guys leave, and our culture there is so unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they'll come back.
Absolutely.
And they'll want to come back. And then as the owner, it's been convenient to be able to look back as, you'll know this as the owner, but Aaron and those guys, to be able to say, you left and we don't really want you back.
Yeah.
So that's on you.
Yeah.
But you do get to pick.
There's a point where you got to let it down, right? Let your pride down. This guy left me, but he's going to be an asset if he learns it. If he learns our way of doing things, he'll be an asset. So
yeah,
that's a big thing.
So if you said the Gill way, you'd say it's discipline.
Yeah, discipline, structure. Humans crave structure. No matter what anybody says, we crave that.
Absolutely.
And once we get a taste of it, we like it. So.
Well, I don't know if you listen to anybody like you know who Jordan Peterson is.
I don't.
So he's a guy out of Canada. He's a college professor. You can look him up. He's he became very famous very quickly for a stance he took on like free speech rights and things like that.
Yeah.
been on Rogan and all that stuff. He's hugely popular, but he's brilliant at speaking about things like that. And he talks about, specifically the hierarchy of life.
Yeah.
And he's like, life is designed for a hierarchy. Left alone, it will always sort itself out into a hierarchy, whether you're talking about lobsters or you're talking about human beings.
Yeah.
And even if you say, hey, we have no structure, a hierarchy will naturally develop out of that.
Yeah.
And so I would say you're right on the right track. I crave discipline. And I told someone the other day I would be the easiest person to kill. I do the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
I do it the exact same way because I know that works.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you crave it, right? You go to jiu-jitsu every day, right? I mean, 4 or 5 in the morning.
Well, not every day.
Well, 4 days a week.
I'm 46 years old. I couldn't do it every day.
But still, what other 46-year-old are doing it? Very few, right? So
very few, but there are some, and all of us are taking testosterone.
Whatever it takes, but you're doing it.
We're there,
and
man.
You're getting there. Yeah.
And it's one of those things too where if you don't have that discipline, then what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you? I don't understand people that are undisciplined, like how they move through the day.
Go through the motions, and that's not the way to be.
Right.
That's not the way to be as an entrepreneur. That's not the way to be as an employee. That's not the way to be as anything. If you're just going through the motions, you're doing nothing for yourself. You're doing nothing for your family, right? Let's strive to be better. That's my thing. And I want to help my people. If they're just going through the motions, all of our guys are family. That's how it is, like I said earlier. But let's strive to be better. Let's strive to do the next job better. Hey, you did a really good job, but hey, how can we fix this to be even better? There's always a way to better yourself, to perfect something, so that's what we strive to do.
I don't think there's a better endeavor to strive to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're, just that idea of constant improvement and hey guys, great work. You guys are amazing. How can we tighten it up?
Yeah. Yep.
How can we tighten it up? How can we tighten it up? And there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. You can do it in such a way that's completely demotivating. Yeah. And I've been a part of groups and organizations that are that way.
And you don't want to burn them out.
And you don't want to burn them out. How do you thread that needle?
Yeah. So you do make it fun. You reward them, right? You reward people, period. I like pats on the back still to this day, no matter what, right?
Well, everyone does.
Absolutely.
And what's interesting, I've said this to people before, that companies I work for, and they're like, I want to build a safety incentive program. And I'm like, okay, just tell people they did good.
Yeah. It goes a long way in front of people in the safety meeting.
Don't pay them.
Yeah.
Because then they'll just not report something.
Yeah.
Just tell them, hey, man, hey, Cody, you did awesome there. Yep. Hey, that observation you turned in, that's going to save somebody's life.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Everybody, this is what he did.
You're going to go home and you're going to learn, and you're going to go home to your family every night. You learn from this. And
thank them. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yep. So that recognition is tremendous.
100%.
Yeah. So you start with recognition.
We do.
So where do you go from there so that you don't get into the oppressive kind of, hey man, discipline over everything? And that can be what you're doing. Yeah. But you've got to get to a point where you're not doing it in an oppressive way. So you start with that recognition piece. Then what?
We do the kind of a.
You said do again.
We do a bonus program. Yeah. I didn't go to college either. Remember that?
Well, I went for a little bit.
You're ahead of me. Yeah. So you got a little more English ahead of me.
Also, I wasn't raised in West Odessa.
That's always my excuse, no matter what.
That's right.
But we have a bonus incentive for work performance, right? So that's getting praised by a company, man. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, you did a great job, or so and so did a great job on location today. Being on time, being held accountable, and then safe, right? So so that we do pay them, but recognition is key. We announce them in front of the safety meeting. We'll do a lot of different things. We send people on trips. Who doesn't want to go on a trip, right?
Oh, man.
So yeah, we do all kinds of really cool stuff. But we just, and I'll call them in the office. And when you do that and you talk to people one-on-one, that goes a long, long way. It really does.
It does. It's something that I've had to remind myself throughout my career that when having moved up the ranks and becoming an executive in a company and a VP and all that stuff. I don't think of myself as that. Yeah. Even though that's what I am. Yeah. So like today, walking through the shop there in Odessa and stopping and talking to a guy on the forklift and just, hey man, I'm Justin. And
he clams up. He's like, shit, there's our safety.
Well, he doesn't even know who I am.
Yeah.
And so then I start looking at introspectively going, man, should I be out here more so these guys at least know who I am?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think back on what it meant to me as that up and comer for an executive to stop and ask me, "Hey, what's your name?
Yep.
How you doing?
Yep.
What can we do better?"
It goes a long way.
Just
with those
stop
guys.
and talk.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've made a point throughout my career to do, and I did it today. I needed a pair of safety glasses, and a guy brought me a pair of tinted ones, and I said, "I want clear ones." And he said, "We're going to be outside." And I said, "I don't care." And I wear clear specifically because I want those people to be able to see my eyes.
Eye contact, right?
Yeah, I don't want to be able to hide behind that.
Yeah.
And there's a vulnerability to that. You don't strike me as someone that is readily vulnerable.
Yeah.
Are you vulnerable with your employees?
I wouldn't say so. No.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Has that created any issues?
No, I mean,
It's the oil field, so
Yeah.
there's some vulnerability stuff there. But
there is, but no, I wouldn't say, not at all.
and part of that too is probably your position within the company, right?
Yeah.
As a safety person, a lot of times, look, until I've established credibility and stuff like that, those guys, I come with inherent distrust and dislike.
Yeah, absolutely. Safety man.
Right. And at the end of the day, for me, I've found to break down those walls and stuff, it goes a long way to just show some sort of like, hey, man, I'm just trying to get better with you.
Let them know you're a person just like they are.
I'm just a person like you, man. I just got a different job than you do.
And you're still learning from them. So
100%.
That helps a lot.
100%.
Too, so.
And at the end of the day, those guys have also seen me out helping load tools.
Yeah. Yep. Get your hands dirty.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that.
You've been there, done that, and you'll still do it.
Correct.
So, yeah.
And I'm sure they see you doing that also.
Oh man, if our grass is tall or if it's trash out there, I'm the one out there getting it all started. Then the whole shop comes so yeah, I'm still that guy to this day.
Yeah, and the whole shop comes because they're like, oh shit.
Oh shit, here we go. Yeah. Yep.
But what's funny about that is I don't anticipate you'd be the type that would do all of that and be like, I shouldn't be the one out there doing that.
No, hell no. I'm doing it with them. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is your building.
Yep. And if some of the guys have started it and they need some help, I will walk out there and I'll do it myself. I mean, like we said earlier, I'll do anything. I won't have the guys do anything that I won't do. So
I think that's critical. I think anyone that starts a business, whether it's a 2-person operation or a 2 million person operation, as long as those people know that you're there for them and you're helping them get better and you're not better than them, you will only be successful.
And there's no such thing as being better than anybody. I don't care if it's money, success, whatever it is. You're still the same person everybody else is. We put our socks on the same way. We get dressed the same way. You can get your ass whooped the same way. I mean, it is what it is. Money don't make you invincible by any means. You know what I mean? So
it certainly doesn't make you untouchable.
Yeah, absolally, and that's what a lot of people do seem to forget. Yeah.
Yeah, I think who was it? I think it was Mike Tyson that said a lot of people have gotten real comfortable about not being punched in the face.
Yep. Keyboard warriors, man. Yeah, hiding behind that screen.
No doubt, man. Yeah. Well, Cody, thank you so much for being a part of this, man. Yeah. I'm so glad that we connected. You did interrupt my fishing to do this, but it's been good.
That picture looked nice out on that kayak. I don't know if I'd have came to West Texas if I was you.
It was my calf that did it in the picture. You like that? My calf was all just rocked up on there.
Swolled up.
Yeah. I'd been bitten by a bee. A bee stung me. Right before that.
That's Instagram worthy right there.
For sure. But man, this has been great. And congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And congratulations on your failure, because I promise you learned from that.
100%.
And you're going to grow.
I did learn.
And so I think a lot of people miss that point too.
Absolutely.
That sucked and it was an ass beating in the time. But looking back on it, you would probably say, man, I'm glad I had that experience.
100%. What am I going to do better next time?
100%. So thank you so much for being a part of this. Man, I'm excited to get to connect with another West Texas guy, even though you live basically in Monahans. And
way west.
You're super west in the Sand Hills, Texas.
Yep.
But man, this has been a lot of fun, man. And thank you for opening up your office to
absolutely.
us. And where can we find you if we wanted to be a part of Cody Gill's world?
Man, my biggest deal is Instagram, Cody_Gill25 or LinkedIn, Cody Gill. That's kind of where my life's posted most of the time. Snapchat, that's where my partying life goes on when we're at the ranch having fun. You don't want none of that.
I don't I don't do Snapchat. Every once in a while I'll appear in some sort of a TikTok video with my daughter.
Yeah, I don't do none of that.
I mean, it's pretty rough most of the time.
I can't dance, so I can't do those.
So I usually perform so poorly they don't actually get posted.
They're stuck in her archive.
So I still do them so that she's like, well, my dad's cool. Look
Yeah.
at him. But then she's like,
He's not that
that's
cool.
just for us.
Yeah. That's probably what you're gonna think after this podcast, because this is my first one, so I'm really new to this, so it might not be very interesting.
It doesn't matter, man. It's just a conversation, right? And as long as, again, going back to what we said about your mother's interaction with people, as long as you're in a genuine conversation,
Absolutely.
and there's no way to fail at that.
Yep.
So, man, it's been good to finally get to meet you.
You too, man.
Obviously,
Yeah,
you and I have kind of connected through LinkedIn and Instagram a few times, and know some obvious mutual friends.
Yep.
I mean, you can't be from West Texas,
Yeah.
and not literally know everyone.
No matter which side or which town you're from.
Correct.
Whether you're from the better Odessa or the least liked Midland, right? I mean, you're all the same.
When you said better Odessa, I thought you meant the less West Odessa.
No, the better Odessa. The more west you go, the better off you are.
I thought you meant the more East Odessa.
They're a lot like y'all Midlanders.
I was also confused though, because better Odessa is such an oxymoron.
No,
There's just
man.
no way that can be true.
It's here, bud.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
right here.
Okay. It's over by Osaka.
You're sitting in it right now.
Oh, without a doubt, man. These
Absolutely.
offices are actually
Absolutely.
really, really nice, man.
Appreciate it.
But just all the best, all continued success, man.
Same to you.
And I really appreciate everything.
Heck yeah.
And
congratulations on this podcast, man. This is going to be a cool deal. I'm excited to download it and listen to it.
It's cool, man. I'm excited to get to do it. And again, shout out to Aaron Marquez and Wildcat Oil Tools, the company I work for encouraging me to do this, and also allowing me the flexibility to do this.
Yeah. You're not going to find that very often in anybody.
No.
Aaron doing that is amazing. That's really cool.
It's the advantage, I think, of having CEOs and founders that are younger now.
Yeah.
That see value in
They understand
social media and see value in these types of things, and see that can really, truly, for almost a free advertising perspective, reach huge audiences. I mean, this is going to reach probably tens of people.
Yeah. Tens of people. I like it. I'll keep promoting it. I'll promote.
No doubt, man. But thank you so much for the hospitality and the drinks and the conversation, man.
Yes,
I learned a lot, and I know our whoever listens to this will too.
Absolutely. Hope so. If I help one person, that's good.
Hey, man, I've often said if you can change the world for one person, you've actually changed the entire world.
100% right.
So I think that's the way to look at it. And man, if there's anything I can ever do for you, please don't hesitate.
Same here, man. Appreciate you reaching out.
Awesome, man.
All right,
Thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bye.